Hey there, higher running coach and Coros athlete Sage Canaday here, breaking down the new Coros Pod 2, new product, run sensor coming out from Coros. Exciting new products. I am sponsored by them, full disclaimer, but I want to go back to a running form video that I posted, a little running form clip tutorial on vertical oscillation, or what we call at Coros stride height. Now, this new gadget helps measure that, and you could track it in real time. It syncs with the watch. Great for more accuracy with instantaneous velocity or pace. More on that later. But also things like this stride height or how much bounce you're getting. And I'll admit, some of you called me out on this, rightfully so, that I actually had some better aspects of running form when I was doing a high bounce stride, vertical oscillation stride. I kind of call it a stride where you see a lot of people that used to be sprinters or people that come from more explosive sports. Maybe you played a team sport in school like basketball or baseball or football or soccer. Maybe you just naturally have more fast twitch muscle fibers and you transition to distance running. A lot of times these people are very athletic with their stride, but they have a big bounce in their stride, which is generally not as efficient in distance running. And as we see on the Coros metrics is that stride height number and how we try to optimize it or minimize it for distance running events and keep it usually under 5 centimeters. Now that's kind of a world-class type of metric, but you might be 7 centimeters or 9 centimeters. I'm over 5 centimeters on that. So we're looking at 2 inches, several inches of play there. And, it does depend a bit on your biomechanics. Everyone has a little bit of an individualized type of stride that's going to be more efficient for your body as an individual. And I will say, as a full disclaimer, I've never had really good good running form. I have pretty smooth form. I'm kind of a shuffler. I kind of sit low in the saddle. I don't have a ton of vertical oscillation. I think I have a lot of slow twitch muscle fibers. My femur is longer than my tibia. Well, most people's are, but mine's quite a bit longer than my tibia. That ratio matters, the Q angle matters, things like that. So, I've never had textbook good form, and form is not the end all thing. We want to improve our form to improve our speed, to improve our efficiency or running economy, and reduce the risk of injury, hopefully. But at the same time, it's not the number one thing that's going to determine how fast you could run a 5K or a marathon necessarily, because there's other more important things inside the body like heart and lungs, VO2 max, blood flow, capillary beds, mitochondria, muscle tendon strength, stuff like that, that really matters. Mental strength, mental toughness. So there's a lot of people with really good form that will never run Kipchoge fast in the marathon maybe, and there's a lot of people that have kind of wonky form or some imbalances that's not textbook great, but they're still pretty fast runners because it's what's inside that counts more. So just a little background on that. But anyway, back to the video clip, and we'll run that clip, Instagram reel, filmed vertically there. You could see high vertical oscillation. I'm doing an exaggerated bounce stride. I usually try to exaggerate the bad form in these videos, and I don't always do it well. Shot by Steven Ganoza in one take there at the Boulder Res. But you see the bounce, you see the lines, the difference there. That is a lot of vertical oscillation. Now, the things that are good in my running form there is I'm actually getting a really good calf spring. You could see the recoil of the lower calf, the soleus, and you see that in what we call plantar flexion with the back leg kicking back there. And I have a real good or a much better plantar flexion and back kick when I do this ballistic stride with a lot of stride height or vertical oscillation. And I'm maybe running at a slightly faster speed as well, and we'll talk about that in a second. But good mechanics there, better foot landing off the, springing more off the ball of the foot. I'm not heel striking as much as I normally do. I'm a heel striker by default. Even when I ran 2:16 in the marathon, 1:04 in the half marathon, I was heel striking. But the important thing about that is you're getting that leg back under the center of mass. And I don't have enough of a forward lean, but maybe a better forward lean with this big ballistic stride height. The arms have to be swinging very coordinated when you have such a powerful stride like that. But you don't want the stride rate or how many steps you take in a minute, which this Coros Pod 2 also measures, to get too slow. And it's a dangerous thing if you're a sprinter and you're almost like bounding with each step, like a high jumper. For a long distance race, 5K, marathon, ultramarathon, that's generally less efficient, especially if you're going uphill. compared to if you were doing the high jump or you're doing a 100-meter sprint, which you still probably want low vertical oscillation. You want to be moving forward rather than up and down too much. And the stress, the impact force, could be very high. How the force plays out on your body could cause a repetitive strain injury or a muscle tear, bone break, stuff like that. So using the Coros Pod, we look at the aspects of running form like vertical oscillation. We look at stride rate. This measures that. This also measures things in terms of twisting planes, and I like this a lot. You could mount it on the small of your back. Actually, you center it down lower back on the shorts or running pants, tights. You could see left-right balance, which is real cool to see. I have a bit of a torquing stride where I've had some issues with my hip and lower back, leg length discrepancy, and as I'm trying to sort out getting more efficient with overcoming that twisting motion, the left-right balance is a real great metric to look at as well. When you put this Coros Pod 2 on your shoe, you're getting this stride height, and one of the key metrics that I think is really, really cool is that you get instantaneous velocity readings that are very accurate because they're not GPS based. Now, so let's say, on this run, I was going out at a pretty easy conversational aerobic pace. You could see some of the data points there within the Coros app, wearing this Pod 2, and it's syncing to my watch. Shout out to the Coros Apex, or Apex 2 Pro, actually. More on that later, too. You could see that in real time because as you start accelerating, say I was running 730 per mile pace, put that in kilometers there, I start accelerating into a 15 to 20 second stride that's faster, about as fast as my 1500 meter race pace, or low 4-minute mile type of pace. It's a big acceleration very quickly. Well, in the first 5-10 seconds, the GPS doesn't necessarily pick up that fine tune of an acceleration. It's a sudden acceleration, it's fast, but using GPS, you usually need more than 5 or 10 seconds to pick up that instantaneous velocity reading. So it's not going to be as accurate. It's not going to be as fast if you're looking at the velocity spikes just based on any GPS. You see those peaks like on STRAVA there. It might say I'm only running low 5-minute mile pace, which is more like my marathon PR pace, when in reality I'm running low 4-minute mile pace. But the Coros Pod 2 picks that up on this instantaneous velocity because it starts recognizing right away that my stride rate has increased. I might be taking 180 to even 200 steps per minute, and my stride length has also increased, and it's picking up the stride length as a sensor on your foot. So, stride rate or cadence multiplied by stride length is your speed. It notices right away that I'm running a lot faster in these strides. You get more accurate instantaneous pace or velocity readings with the Coros Pod 2. That's probably my favorite metric, but there's a lot of different ones as we go down. Ground contact time being one of them, another good metric for form. But back to the vertical oscillation or stride height video. This is great for measuring and monitoring that. And we see these good aspects of my form when I'm running with a big ballistic stride, high stride rate. It wasn't extremely high and bouncy, but it is something that made me think, and you guys, some of you called me out on this, again, rightfully so, about the calf spring, getting in some good plantar flexion, getting better hip extension. You can see my left hip is a little tight there, as well as the top of the quad, rectus femoris. I don't get great hip extension back, and the back kick really does matter. But the final takeaway in this video, using all this data, these analytics, more accurate data and analytics, especially with speed, is the concept that the faster you run, generally, the better your form is. So it's not so much that elites run fast because they have good form. It's more that they have a good aerobic base. They train really hard. They're naturally talented. Some people are born with good form, but they fine tune it through doing speed work, high intensity intervals, track workouts, stuff like that, hill repeats, and then also years and even decades of aerobic base building running, where they've also fine-tuned their form and muscular strength, tendon strength, bone density, strength, and stuff like that, so they don't get injured. And it's that cumulative training effect that helps them run fast, as well as having good form. But if you're running a marathon at sub 5-minute mile pace or sub 3 minutes per kilometer pace, you better believe your form's not going to be too wonky and you're not going to be overstriding too much with a horrible heel strike, because that velocity alone is going to iron things out. And that's why speed workout and track workouts and strides are so important for all distance runners, because if you go out and you run 100 meters at a near sprint, don't do that, you might pull a muscle right away, but work into it, work into doing strides at 90%, 95% speed with full recovery. You generally run with better form, because that stride rate, or that cadence, which this also measures, is going to have to increase pretty substantially, right? You'll probably be well over 170 or 180 steps per minute when you're sprinting, and you're going to be developing a lot of power with your stride, as well as increasing your stride length. You're getting good hip extension. You're probably springing off the ball of your foot more of a forefoot takeoff. You're getting a lot of recoil with the calf spring, using your glutes more, pawing back with the hamstrings. And getting a good arm swing going too, right? Straight back and forth. You're probably not all over the place. When you're sprinting and high speed running, even faster than 5K race pace, you're ironing out some of those form inefficiencies. You're working on activating neuromuscular pathways with the fast twitch muscle fibers, and you're probably optimizing your stride height or vertical oscillation, as well as maybe your left-right balance, which you could break down how it explains there in the Coros app. Very nice to see. And what I saw when I was doing strides, wearing this sensor, both on my foot, getting that data, but then also on the small of my back, getting that balance data, things generally did increase when I increased the pace and I'm doing a stride much faster. So then it's about implementing how you're running when you're running super fast into your slower running form, and with the goal of increasing efficiency, but mainly to reduce the risk of injury and just having more fun with your running. So I think, Coros done a great job with the Pod 2 release. Again, I am sponsored by them. Check out them on the website there. I'll link to it in the description below. Again, a shameless sponsor plug. I really appreciate Coros' support. Love the GPS watch. The battery life's amazing. Enter code SAGE when you fill out your cart with a GPS watch order. You could add a free gift item in there with my code SAGE there. Thank you so much for all your support. Explore perfection with Coros. This is a sponsored plug again, but I am truly, as a coach and as an athlete training, I do like these data and the numbers, and I appreciate the accuracy and data of these numbers that you could see in real time with the Coros Pod 2. Again, thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe on here for more of these types of training talks. Again, thanks to the Patreon supporters for really making this channel possible, and shout out to all the sponsors, but especially Coros for their support. Hope you're doing well, and stay tuned for more VO2 Max Productions.